Shalom, Hebrews. This is a message from the Israelite Brotherhood. All right, Hebrews, I want to do this little history, man, on, how reckoning on the horizon, man, is here, man. I'm talking about it's coming in and how we Israelites, man, are waking up. And then how, man, we can understand a lot of what's going on that our ancestors didn't understand in the past that crippled us, and then got us shackled and messed up. And then how our enemies, man, just loved it. And how it was just, man, gravy for them in the past. But now that we waking up and we understand what's going on, man, look, Israelites, I wanna explain to you Israelites, man, how reckoning is on the horizon. You know what I'm saying? Reckoning, man, is on the horizon. And how we can't stay in captivity forever. We can't stay in captivity forever. So a lot of this things that's going on in the world, man, today is basically connected to our Israelite heritage. And it's like this, man. It's two things that's gonna take place, man, in the world. Either the people they got our heritage gonna support us and bring us back into our heritage and work with us, or curses gonna be on our enemies. You know what I'm saying? And then this is a reason, you know what I'm saying, why they keeping the big eye, man, on us and keep the big eye on us. You know what I'm saying? They keep the big eye on us because they watching the developments, because there's only two roles that's gonna be played when we Israelites come into heritage. Is either that you're gonna be for us Israelites, or you're gonna be against us. And then if you be against us and be our enemy, then the curse is gonna be on you, and it ain't nothing can change that. If the Tanakh say the curses is gonna be on our enemies, you best guarantee the curse is gonna be on our enemies. Now, it's two prophecies, man, concerning the Israelites, man. It's two prophecies, man, concerning the end, man, our end game, and man, it states in the Tanakh that the curses is going to be on our enemies and those that persecute us. Prophet Moses told us this when our end come and then we be resurrected. What Almighty Yah was going to do to our enemies, the same curses that fell on us, man, is going to fall on them. And then the ones that help us, man, is going to be, going to have to work with us forever. And then how that we going to be back in control of our Israelite heritage and get to dictate what is Israelite heritage and what is not Israelite heritage, meaning that the people that, that's supposed to help us, when the scriptures give a vague description of how we supposed to ride on their back, and then how they supposed to, be our nursing mothers and fathers and so forth. Our new Hebrewism, is gonna be, dictated by us and not by others, and those who challenge us and hate us Israelites when we come into heritage most definitely will have the curses on them. Now, look, Israelites, I want to, get off topic for a little bit, man, and I want to explain some stuff, man, that, you know what I'm saying, I done encountered and experienced, and that how I'm passing the information over to the Israelite community. Now we done seen this all seeing eye, and then we see it on the dollar. You know what I'm saying? It's on the money. You know what I'm saying? I ain't got no dollar on me right now. But Israelites know that it's on the dollar. And that all seeing eye, man, is kind of like prevalent, but most certainly that it's on the dollar. And then you Israelites ever wonder, man, what that all seeing eye mean? Man, and what's the meaning behind it? And then, man, I done gather this much information. Now we know that the Pharaoh now, we know Pharaoh means supposed to be the leader, mean of the Egyptian system, its government, its kingdom and everything, and how he the boss, right? So the boss, man, gonna have to see everywhere. Now even though he can't be everywhere, man, he can't be everywhere, he gonna have to have eyes everywhere. Eyes everywhere telling him what's going on, especially in a serious kingdom like Egypt, where a lot of folks is trying to get in. You know, Egypt had a lot of gold. Egypt had a lot of gold. Egypt even had a banking system. You know what I'm saying? And it kind of functioned, you know, the same way as the banking system in Mesopotamia. But how Egypt, man, was prosperous, and how Pharaoh, you know, we know that the eyes, man, I think the left eye of the Egyptian god is Horus, and that the right eye is the Egyptian god Ra, and that's the war god. But whichever eye, you know what I'm saying, that it represented the higher power, and how Pharaoh was supposed to be the descendant and the offspring of the god, or the representation of that God here on earth, whether it's Ptah, Ra, or Horus, or whatever. You know what I'm saying? And that how that eye was the representation of it. And then how about that eye, that all-seeing eye, was Pharaoh's ability to have spies everywhere in places, listening and bringing information back to Pharaoh. You know what I'm saying? And I want to kind of explain how did that power, that Egyptian power, with the spy system, a thorough established spy system, was absorbed into the Greek system, and then how the Sephardics from Babylon got a hold to it, and how that will become the representation, man, of their power. You know what I'm saying? And how that they got a leader at the top, and then how all the orders go down, and then how that he got to know everything that's going on in society. Now all this is connected to the Israelites too, because you best believe that Pharaoh had spies, his all-seeing eye, that he had his eyes, that Pharaoh had his eyes in the promised land, watching us Israelites. Because as you read Tanakh history, we ain't had no trouble with the Egyptians when we had Yah worshippers around, and when we was worshiping Almighty Yah. Hell, we didn't have no many Egyptian problems, in that the Egyptians didn't try to come across the land when we was worshiping Almighty Yah. But soon as we stop worshiping Almighty Yah or get freed, meaning then up pops the Egyptians. You know what I'm saying? And there's gonna be these spies everywhere. They got spies everywhere, and then they're reporting back to Pharaoh what's going on. And Pharaoh is at the top of the pyramid. You know what that pyramid stands for? He at the top, the apex. You know what I'm saying? And then how he can see everywhere, but because the Egyptians had a thoroughly sophisticated spy system. You see what I'm saying? And then I could show how did that spy system, that all-seeing eye spy system, fell over to the bankers, the banking families from Mesopotamia, when they got a hold of the Egyptian heritage and knowledge, and then set up the secret organizations, and then how that they had control of the Egyptian system and their spy system, and understood how it worked. That's why some families, men, was able to get ahead of others. Banking families was able to get ahead of others during Napoleon time, when they had spies in the field telling them what was going on with the war, and then how did they got back to him, you know what I'm saying, and men in London, and told him, hey man, that man, this is happening on the battlefield, and then gave them the advantage. That's that all seeing eye. You know what I'm saying? Working, and then how the bankers, man, got control of the establishment of intelligence. You know what I'm saying? Gathering and so forth, and how did they represent that all seeing eye gonna be the bankers, and then get guess how you figure this out? That the all seeing eye is the bankers, because the bankers gonna have the money in the distribution know how to expand the technology. That's like, man, when the cameras come in, man, when the cameras come in, man, the people that develop the cameras, I mean, I don't care what kind of camera it is, if it can see or take pictures or what, the people that develop the cameras needed financial backing. That they gonna go to the banks. They got to go to the banks. There's no other way but to go to the banks and get capital to put your product in mass production. All right? When they do that, man, the bankers get control of the technology, and especially, you know what I'm saying, the camera technology. Oh man, with the phones and so forth, with the phones and the computers, they gonna have the programs, man, that can get into the phones and the computers and can watch, and that can watch. They gonna have the abilities, the bankers, you know what I'm saying, to watch, man, to watch, but because the people that develop the computers and the cameras that's on the phone and so forth, they need capital backing. They got to go to the bankers. They got to go to the bankers. And then when they go to the bankers, man, the bankers gonna make sure that they get that technology. That technology, man, how, you know what I'm saying, the programs, and you know what I'm saying, to look through the lenses, you know what I'm saying, the computers. They gonna get the program meant to the computers and the phones, and then they gonna be able to look inside and see. You know, that's part of they, you know, thing is to be able to see what's going on. The same as what Pharaoh did. You know what I'm saying? Pharaoh had the all seeing eye, his spies everywhere. Well, when they write and make them programs for them different companies that make the phones and the computers and so forth, we already know who in them circles, and the people that make the apps and so forth. We already know who dominate that circle without a question of a doubt. We know who dominate that circle, and then they're a close knit group, and then that'll give them the ability to see and watch. And then the bankers, you know, they all together. They got associations, and they ain't gonna turn on each other. They might have a little feud and stuff, but they gonna stick together because they know that their prosperity comes with sticking together and having control. And then how did they gonna get control of those apps? Those apps that, you know what I'm saying, in the programs that the software design uh, uh, programs for the cameras in the computers and the telephones is gonna fall in their hand. And then how did they give it to their kids to play with? You know what I'm saying? It might be a head banker. You know what I'm saying? I didn't discuss some of this with one of the barons, and how he told me, yeah, we write the, you know what I'm saying? Man, I thought he was gonna support the Israelite Brotherhood. He said, yeah, pick a federally bank institution. And I asked him why. He said, man, we write the programs and write the software for the banks. We write the software for the banks. They the banks. They write the software for the banks. So then if they write the software for the banks, and man, it's all in their hands. And then they other banks. I can show you that the people that run the banks been running them for a long time, since the Mesopotamia area in the Babylonian Empire was around. And then how did the banking system go back all the way back to Sipper and Nipper. And then how did the people that was in control of the Babylonian banking system got in control of the Israelite heritage and then merged into it and then called it theirs and then would have that power. And then they would even go to Egypt where the spy system and network was and get their hands on that. And then, man, that spying and stuff being around in the form, in the sophistication that it's in today gonna come from Egypt. And then they got absolute control of it. But how did they able to use the programs, the software, that's designed for the companies that need financial backing. You got to get financial backing in order to get your product into distribution. You got to have a bank behind you. You have to have a bank to handle the business. Well, the banker gonna make sure that he get the programs to the cameras and be able to look in and see. And then guess what they gonna do? They gonna give it to their kids to play with. They kids, man, it might be one head banker that got pulled. You know, these families, these banking families been around for a long time. And then how that they got a lot of the first technology that come out gonna fall into their hands first because they the banks. Everybody need capital to get their product out. It's it's impossible, man, to get your product in circulation, man, without a bank or some type of currency backing you. You see what I'm saying? So then the bankers gonna get the first access at the information and technology, and we see this displayed everywhere. That's why they able to profit off of it first and keep like the be the forerunners, men of the technology, because it fall in their hands from their capital, and they know how to, you know, control capital, being money changers and bankers that go all the way back to the Babylonian temple days and the Egyptian days and so forth. But look here, that all seeing eye done fell in their hands. That technology done fell into the bankers' hand from the people trying to develop when they first developed the software for the cameras on the phones and on the computers, and how did that fell into the bankers' hands, and then how the bankers, man, to get it to their kids, and then their kids get to looking around and so forth. You know what I'm saying? I done had them play with me, you know what I'm saying, and let me know, man, that they can do this. But they didn't think that I was going to pick up on it. You see what I'm saying? See, Almighty Yah, man, is my father, and that's who I worship. So he gonna make me see some things that others ain't gonna be able to see. And how, man, it's best not to play with me, because I'll pray to Almighty Yah and put some curses on you. And man, and my angels will go work and go to work. You know what I'm saying? And man, this happen all the time. But anyway, man, they got the cameras under their control because the bankers gonna get first shot at the technology, being that the people who develop the technology, if they not them already in part of their circle, how they gonna hand that information over to the bankers who's backing them. And then the bankers get slick, get control of that company, man. They know how to make folks go into debt. They know how to make folks go into debt. That's why some of them bankers own just about all the companies in the West in so many ways, and then they brag about it. You know what I'm saying? Letting you know, we own this company, we own this company. So then if they own all these companies, then they gonna have the software and the technology for them cameras that's on them computers. Some of the time, it might be the hackers, you know what I'm saying, some hackers that then got a hold man to that knowledge, but that knowledge is totally in the hand, man, of the bankers, because they gonna want the programs and the software for the cameras and the computers. They gonna want that. You know what I'm saying? And that's why come we can't hide, and that's why it's that all seeing eye. You see what I'm saying? It's that all seeing eye right there. But guess what? Almighty Yah finna bring reckoning. You know what I'm saying? In judgment, man, it's on the horizon. And time is running out. For our enemies gonna have to make a choice. The people who's handling our heritage and over the Israelite heritage gonna have to make a choice coming soon. They gonna either have to fall in two categories. One with the curses on them, or the other prophecy with supporting us Israelites and helping us get established. And I can see why that, the peoples ain't gonna want to do that, but because a lot is at stake. As a lot is at stake. You know what I'm saying? If we come into our Israelite heritage, is that the people who do wrong and support evil, power is finna be winding down, and that the people who want peace and righteousness and happiness on earth finna start, springing up, and that's finna happen. But let's show these curses that's gonna be on our enemies, man, if they don't come help us get out this hole that we in, and out this trap that we in, out of this Egyptian system that we in, and they know what's going on with us because they got the all seeing eye, man. They see everywhere. They see everything that's going on. Ain't nothing hid from them. You know what I'm saying? In this system, because they got the software, the bankers going ASAP. Give me the software to the cameras. Give me the software to the computers, and then they be to look in, man, and see what's going on. They be to look in and see what's going on. But let me get this here in. All right, this is Deuteronomy 30 verse 7. All right. Now I'm gonna start at 3. Now, man, I'm gonna read the whole 30. And it shall come to pass when all these things are come upon thee, the blessings and the curses which I have set before thee, and thou shalt call them to mind among all the nations where the Elohim thy Yah hath driven thee. So look, and it said, and it shall come to pass when all these things are come upon thee, the blessing and the curses. So Almighty Yah knew that we was gonna get the blessings. That's cause we got in the land and got that, and then how it was prophesied that we would get the curses. So Almighty Yah knew we would get the curses, cause that's why it said, and it shall come to pass when all these things are come upon thee, the blessings and the curses which I have set before thee, and thou shalt call them to mind among all the nations where the Elohim thy Yah hath driven thee, and thou shalt return unto the Elohim thy Yah, and shalt obey his voice according to all that I command thee this day. Prophet Moses was just speaking about them laws that he was giving them that day, because he know that was the only laws that, Almighty Yah gave us, and that we was supposed to obey it. So, he was saying it in that reference. All right. With all thy heart and with all thy soul, that the Elohim thy Yah will turn thy captivity and have compassion upon thee, and will return and gather thee from all the nations where the Elohim thy Yah hath scattered thee. And if any be driven out, men unto the utmost parts of heaven, from thence will the Elohim thy Yah gather thee, and from thence will he fetch thee, and the Elohim thy Yah will bring thee into the land which thy fathers possessed, and thou shalt possess it, and he will do thee good and multiply thee above thy fathers. And the Elohim thy Yah will circumcise thee in heart, in the heart of thy seed, to love the Elohim thy Yah with all thine heart and with all thy soul, that thou mayest live. And the Elohim thy Yah will look, so our enemies gonna fall up under this. And the Elohim thy Yah will put all these curses upon thine enemies and upon them that hate thee, which prosecute thee. All right, Hebrews, note this, that the Elohim said this, look, and the Elohim thy Yah will put all these curses upon thine enemies and on them that hate thee, which persecute thee. So now look, here's a group, man of our enemies that hate us, and gonna continue the prosecutors, Almighty Yah, gonna put the curses on them. They gonna get the curses on them guaranteed, because if he say so, it's gonna happen. And then this would be one of the reasons why they would want to create a one world system. You see what I'm saying? So and then have the eye to watch everybody and everything going on. You know what I'm saying? And then, me and Almighty Yah know everything in the Elohim, that Yah will put all these curses upon the enemies and on them that hate thee, which persecute thee. If somebody want us to get into a one world system and be governed by a one world system and not be able to worship Almighty Yah freely and not have the control of the Amorite system on us, then they gonna be the enemies of Yah, and Almighty Yah gonna put his curses on them. But this what Almighty Yah say he gonna do, man, to those that help us is gonna be the ones that's gonna make it and survive. So then if you go to that'll be Isaiah. That'll be Isaiah 49. 6 too, but let's see Isaiah 49 and what it say. Alright, shalom to the Israelite Brotherhood, family, and community. I pray everybody is doing well so we get an understanding of that all seeing eye and how it's going to be in the bankers' hands, because the bankers going to get the software and get the programs for the cameras, and the computers to be able to see everywhere. And, everybody want, all of them want a one world system and stuff, and they get that one world system, then they get to have that, big eye on everybody. You know what I'm saying? That big eye on everybody. You know what I'm saying? And man, and they watching. Believe me, they watching. But because they got the programs and the software from the people that develop it, that they need the finances, and then they gonna get it first. See what I'm saying? Alright. Yeah, they gonna get it first. Shoot, we want us something developed so we can watch some folks too, us Israelites. We want to watch them Edomites through the cameras. You know what I'm saying? I know what's going on, but check this out. Those who support us, they going to be able to survive, and the curse is not going to be on them. Because how can the curses be on us and them? You know what I'm saying? But man, to make a distinction. So it's going to have to be some people that have curses on us, our enemies, and then it's going to have to be those that prosper and do good, those that support us. Look, listen, O owls, unto me, and hearken ye people from far. The Elohim had called me from the womb, and from the bowels of my mother had he made mention of my name. And he had made my mouth like a sharp sword. In the shadow of his hand had he hid me, and made me a polished shaft. In his quiver had he hid me, and said unto me, Thou art my servant, O Israel, in whom I will be glorified. See that glorified. And man, to have man to be able to glorify Almighty Yah, we're going to have some sovereignty, because we can't glorify Almighty Yah like we supposed to in captivity, cause shackles on us. You see what I'm saying? The shackles got to come off, and then the people that be with us gonna prosper with us. But the people that try to hinder us, the curse is gonna fall on them. So if you're listening and you got some power, you got to make your choice. It's here now. You know what I'm saying? Reckoning on the horizon is here. Alright. And said unto me, Thou art my servant, O Israel, in whom I will be glorified. Then I said, I have labored in vain. I have spent my strength for naught and in vain. Yet surely my judgment is with the Elohim, and my work is with my Yah. I sure feel like that. And now saith the Elohim that formed me from the womb to be his servant, to bring Jacob again to him, though Israel be not gathered. And listen, we sure ain't gathered, and Prophet Isaiah was speaking for a time in the future, and we in that state now because during the book of Isaiah, man, the Israelites was basically men at home, as I proven that it never was in the 10 lost tribes. You know what I'm saying? And how that's a myth, because how the tribe of Ephraim did trade with the Assyrians and the Egyptians. So that's a myth. You know what I'm saying? That's a lie. So, all right. And now saith the Elohim that hath formed me from the womb to be his servant, to bring Jacob again to him. Though Israel be not gathered, yet shall I be glorious in the eyes of the Elohim, and my Yah shall be my strength. And he said, it is a light thing that thou should be my servant to rise up the tribes of Israel and to restore the preserved of Israel. I will also give thee for a light to the Gentiles. That ain't nothing but truth to them. That ain't nothing but truth to them. And this is the first time that they ever hearing real truth about Almighty Yah in the Israelite heritage, is what the Israelite brotherhood is bringing. All right. That thou mayest be my salvation unto the end of the earth. And if the Israelites listening to me, meaning salvation to the end of the earth, because I'm showing everybody what happened to us in detail, and then I'm showing the things that is associated with it. You know what I'm saying? All right. This said the Elohim, the Redeemer of Israel, and his Holy One, to him whom man despises, to him whom the nation abhor, to a servant of rulers. Kings shall see and arise, princes also shall worship, because of the Elohim that is faithful, and the Holy One of Israel, and he shall choose thee. Listen, all the kings, man, the Queen of England, man, all the leaders, man, they got to listen now, because it's a true way of worshiping Almighty Yah coming soon. And if they gonna participate in it, they gonna have to back us and restore us. And then if they not, then the wrath of Almighty Yah coming on them, and the curses that was on us most definitely finna be in them. And we went into a bondage. We went into a bondage, and the curses outlined that. And man, let some stuff get to going on planet Earth, like it's forming with the war that's shadowing the world. Man, it's a war. Man, it's a world war. Man, it's a world war that's shadowing the earth. Shattering the earth. And it want to destroy the whole earth. And it's linked to us Israelites that's got to be free. Because remember, Russia, China, and them other nations didn't participate in the slavery trade. Wasn't no Hebrew slaves stole from Africa uh, and then transported up to China, meaning to do some work and to pick some cotton. Wasn't no Israelites transported up to Russia and worked up there. You know what I'm saying? In the mines and so forth, man. They got plenty coal mines and mines, man, that they happily stuck some slaves in. But how did they didn't get caught up with that? And now we look today and we see that those nations, man, is got a war shattering, and how that they technology is more superior than the West, far as weaponry and fighting, as was demonstrated in Syria and these little proxy wars. And that how did the proxy wars in those nations with those pigmented peoples, as I explained to Ashkenazi, how did those peoples support the Sephardists, you know what I'm saying, on the slick side, them nations in the east, you know what I'm saying, because the Sephardists been doing trade for a long time, you know what I'm saying, for a long time, everywhere, you know what I'm saying. I show this, and then that'll be another reason why they got that spy system and so forth set up, man, to be able to see everywhere all over the land and with spies back in the days. But I'm gonna get back into that. But you see all these lands. Those are the Randanites. Them would be the self-hearted guilds that went all into these lands and so forth. And they got a plug with these folks right now today to where that proxy religion that they created after Christianity was created got Ashkenazi surrounded in the promised land, and then how that it ain't gonna be too long, man, before they start a war, and then how it won't be no help, and how that they gonna bomb Tel Aviv and try to take it off the map. They gonna try to take it off the map, and then that's what Ashkenazi power is centered, and how the other folks that's surrounded that living in the areas are either Sephardi's or folks that men connected to the peoples that lived in the land and moved in the land, them Edomites. But how Tel Aviv, man, is finna go up in the smoke if we Israelites don't get settled, and how that would diffuse the whole situation. Man, I explain this, and how the Jewish peoples need to come on and let's get a settlement on this Israelite issue going, so we can change a whole lot of things that need to be changed that'll benefit us. Ashkenazi, if you're listening, y'all know that y'all surrounded by them Edomites, and that at any time, man, it could break out, and that how that y'all found them father that got Ashkenazi back in the land through the banking system. You know what I'm saying? But we know the banking family that got the Jewish people back into the promised land through the British government, and then how that that everything that he didn't built is finna go up in flames, because it's surrounded by Edomites and its religion. That religion that was created after Christianity, and then how that them peoples in the East, man, is gonna work with them, and then how that they gonna bomb and let them rockets fly. And Tel Aviv, and even if they got the all-seeing eye, how it ain't gonna be able to help them and save them. It ain't gonna be able to help them and save them. You know what I'm saying? They can have the technology to see everything that's going on everywhere, and then how that it ain't gonna prevent them from experiencing the disaster that's coming. And because the people gonna either fall in two camps, you either gonna work with us Israelites, or the curses gonna get on you. And first thing about the curses is being driven out the land. You know what I'm saying? Like Almighty Yah drove us out the land, as I could show many verses as he showed us from before. All this is dealing with the curses. It's being driven out the promised land. If you in the promised land, and the curses fall on you, you're going to be driven out the promised land. That's part of the curses, is that you get driven out the promised land. And there's only one curses that Almighty Yah spoke about, even though some of them things that, can't take past, can't come to pass like in the past they did, but how it's nevertheless that you shall be driven out the land. That's what the curses signify, and if you own that land, then that's what will activate the curses. And then if they ain't trying to help us Israelites get back home, then the curses is coming on them, and it's only two groups that they can fall in. They can fall in the ones that get curses, or they can fall into the ones that help us, that's gonna have a everlasting prosperity and reign with us when we come back into the promised land. Because we coming back. Ain't nothing in this world can stop us Israelites from coming back into the promised land. There's some there, but they ain't in the right place. As I explained in plenty of videos, where we have to be at in our last days to bring all the prophecies to an end. Alright, so we know that, if the people that ride with us, you know what I'm saying, that this has got to take place. And this is Isaiah 49. And he said, "This is a light thing that thou shouldest be my servant, to rise up the tribes of Israel, and to restore the preserve of Israel. I will also give thee for a light to the Gentiles, that thou mayest be salvation unto the end of the earth." And then if you listening to me, man, it is the truth. Thus saith the Elohim, the Redeemer of Israel, and his Holy One, to him whom man despises, and to him whom the nations adhere. That's calling us Negroes, blacks, treating us real bad. Treating us real bad. You know what I'm saying? Treating us real bad. Ain't got no respect for us because of the slavery that we been through, and then how it hasn't been explained properly in world history because of the people that got our heritage been lying to the world. All right. I also show how the felon angelic beings got a hold to our heritage, and they would be that all seeing eye too. They would want to see everywhere, see what's going on everywhere. What y'all children doing? You know what I'm saying? They'll want to see everywhere. What y'all children doing? What is they up to? So that's why come they'll want that the software and the technology and the programs behind the cameras and the phones to see what's going on and can keep a tab on everybody. And that's what they do. Alright. Thus saith the Elohim, in an acceptable time have I heard thee, and in the day of salvation have I helped thee, and I will preserve thee and give thee for a covenant of the people to establish the earth, the cause to inherit the desolate heritage. Man, all the toe upness and the roughness that the promised land and been through since we've been gone, man, it's basically desolate, because when we was there, man, we kind of, had it fixed up, and it wasn't all, them wars and stuff in the land until we start, doing wrong and stuff. But how, we had a nice little temple, probably the best one on planet Earth, where Almighty Yah put his name, as all the peoples came to pay homage to it from other lands during King Solomon time. All right. That thou mayest say to the prisoners, go forth to them that are in darkness, show thyself, they shall feed in the ways, and their pastures shall be in all high places. They shall not hunger nor thirst, neither shall the heat nor sun smite them. For he that had mercy on them shall lead them, even by the springs of water shall he guide them. And I will make all my mountains a way, and my highways shall be exalted. Behold, these shall come from far, and lo, these from the north, and these from the west, and these from the land of Synonym. That's a bushy forest place, as the United States was, and that's what they called it back then. You know what I'm saying? This area, the strange land. All right, sing, O heavens, and be joyful, O earth, and break forth into singing, O mountains, for the Elohim had comforted his people and will have mercy upon his afflicted. And then let me go back to mention that word synonym mean bushy land. Bushy land. Land of bushes, trees. And it was a strange land, so that's going to be the Americas, you know what I'm saying, that we was took to in the slavery days and so forth. All right. Sing, O heavens, and be joyful, O earth, and break forth into singing, O mountains. For the Elohim had comforted his people and will have mercy upon his afflicted, meaning that they're going to be in bondage, tore up, and in trouble. But Zion said the Elohim had forsaken me, and my Elohim had forgotten me. Let me see. But Zion said the Elohim had forsaken me, and my Elohim had forgotten me. Can a woman forget her suckling child, that she should not have compassion on the son of her womb? Yeah, they may forget, yet will I not forget thee. Behold, I have graven thee upon the palms of my hands. Thy walls are continually before me. So why Almighty Yah in the heavens doing his work, probably on other planets, that when he doing his work, that he still see us and recognize us as being a job that he got to come back and complete, is that we on the palm of his hand. Almighty Yah probably out creating planets and so forth. They know, the enemies know, because they in the heavens and they the fallen angelic beings, and they know that there's other places habitable in the heavens and stuff. Why would it say, sing, O heavens? Sing, O heavens, and be joyful, O earth. See, sing, O heavens. Man, there's some entities in the heavens as explained in Prophet Ezekiel, how that craft come from out the heavens with Almighty Yah on it. So we know, man, there's some living beings in the heavens. You see what I'm saying? Man, there's some living beings in the heavens. So, Almighty Yah got us graved upon his hand while he doing work in the heavens. Man, he gonna see us and say, man, I got to go back and tend to them. It's about that time that they done cooked real good. They baked real good. And then let me go pull them out the oven. Let me go pull them out the oven. Man, his high is finna ball down too. I already know what time it is. Look, behold, I have graven thee upon the palms of my hands. Thy walls are continually before me. Thy children shall make haste thy destroyer, and they that made thee waste shall go forth of thee. Lift up thine eyes round about, and behold, all these gathered themselves together and come to thee. As I live, said the Elohim, thou shalt surely clothe thee with them all, as with an ornament, and bind them on thee as a bride doeth. So the people that come be with us Israelites, mean they gonna stick to us and they gonna be down with us and they gonna ride with us and they gonna, we're gonna be 1-1 with this fight. And then now these are not men and children of Israel. These are the peoples that is gathered, met together. Look, lift up then eyes round about, and behold, all these gathered themselves together and to come to thee. As I live, said the Elohim, thou shalt surely clothe thee with them all, as with an ornament, and bind them on thee as with a bride. So, man, there's going to be some people that's going to come to us. Man, they going to say, hey, y'all, you know what I'm saying? Let's settle this Israelite issue, and we're going to ride with y'all, man, the rest of the way on out. You see, that's the way it's supposed to be. You know what I'm saying? And them the people that's going to make it and not going to have the curses on them as the ones that's continuously being our enemies going to have a curse on them. Look, for thy waste in thy desolate places in the land of thy destruction shall even now be too narrow by reason of the inhabitants, and they that swallow thee up shall be far away. And sure enough, man, the people that swallowed us up originally owned the land and had all the stores in the beginning. Lopez and them, we know who Lopez and them was with the slave ships. We ain't got to go into that. You know what I'm saying? We know who started the slavery trade. You know what I'm saying? There ain't no question about that. That's well documented. And I got videos going into that. That's already understood. All right. Well then, they done got the land, and then the land in exchange to the foreigners, man, and to the Orientals, and then, man, the land that went into the Arabs' hand, but where the land was in the Europeans' hands, after the Jewish people hands, and then it went into the Oriental hands, and now it's in the Arab hands, and now it's finna be in the Hispanics' hands. So, man, we all tore up. So the other folks is far on the way. They all migrating back to the promised land. They all migrating back to the promised land. Jews from all over got that law of return in their head now, because it's finna get rough everywhere else around the world. And that's probably going to be the only place where, they can be, not, bothered and stuff, because the world finna be mad and be pointing the fingers at them and stuff, because as history go and show, man, that the peoples that control the banks has been kind of like, man, from one or the other group. And, man, people ain't dumb no more. You know what I'm saying? That's a good reason to have that all-seeing eye everywhere else, to watch everybody and see everybody start rising up and being mad. And then that'll be another reason, man, to unleash all these viruses to try to get rid of the folks and knock some of the numbers down, knock some of the hostility down. You know what I'm saying? Men is all working together. They all working together. But how's Israelites information is finna save us with the worship of Almighty Yah. Alright. For thy waste and thy desolate places in the land of thy destruction shall even now be too narrow by reason of the inhabitants. That's because the stranger got up above us and we went down low, as Tanakh history saying how some of them Israelites be confused and be thinking that the Hispanics and so forth, the natives are Israelites, and how did they rising above us steady, just got into the community and then took it over already. Ain't been in the community 10 years and got the whole community on locks. Everything. All the trades that we once had is in their name. It is in their hands. For thy waste and thy desolate places in the land of thy destruction, because we sure enough being destroyed here, shall even now be too narrow by reason of the inhabitants, and they that swallow thee up shall be far away. Man, it's like I just did this video not too long, man, on Facebook, man, about how did this individual come over here in the plane tire. And then he not come over here in the plane tire, man, you know what I'm saying, to the Americas. You know what I'm saying? He done come over here in the plane tire. Then they come over here in the plane cabin. You know what I'm saying? And then how that he gonna be in control of the community, man, in a few years. And then here's a dude, men and Hispanic, the Israelites say, these are our brothers. And then how he done clammed up into the plane gear, trying to make it over here to take over our community, because the word done spread. Hey, all you gotta do is move in among these slave descendants, man, and they'll give you all their riches. They'll give you all their riches. And how dude done clammed up in the plane and stuff. And then how he on his way over here. You know what I'm saying? We wouldn't have got here.
Deal passed over to them for construction, man, to do the inner work. You know what I'm saying? To repair the United States. They just gave them $1 trillion. And these Israelites be confused and say, oh, these are our brothers and they from the tribes of Israel. But they ain't suffering none of the curses. How if they the tribes of Israel and that we ain't rising up with them? Why come we not rising up with them? If they the tribes of Israel and we all supposed to rise up together, why we not rising up with them? Them camps, man, it is awful. Man, they doing the Israelites terrible. Got them confused and lost in another bondage. They in another bondage. The Israelites is in the camps because they don't know what's going on. And they been believing in lies, confusion. Man, look at this one dude just come over here, clammed in the airplane wheel. Man, waiting in Central America. He done clammed in the airplane wheel. The man that clammed up in the airplane through the wheel, through the landing gear. Man, in 2 years, he gonna be over the whole community. He gonna own the houses and the business in the community. But they say these folks, Israelites, look at it. Man, this man gonna own everything in the community in 2 years. And then he just come over in the landing gear. But the Israelites say he's an Israelite. And then he gonna own everything in the community in 2 years. And we've been here all our life. And we can't get it together. But yet, these other ethnic groups move into our community and take over. Just like the curses Prophet Moses say the Israelites will be under. And how did they fulfill that? But yet, you got a segment of the Israelites believe that this is an Israelite. And that how he finna, take over the whole community and not fixing to help the real Israelites. Man, there's so much.
And then they go back to just like I said, well, just like the Tanakh said, look, for thy waste and thy desolate places in the land of thy destruction shall even now be too narrow by reason of the inhabitants, and they that swallow thee up shall be far away. The children which thou shalt have after thou hast lost the other shall say again in thine ears, the place is too strait for me. Give place to me that I may dwell. Then shalt thou say in thine heart, who had begotten me these, seeing I have lost my children, and am desolate and captive, and am moving to and fro? We gonna show the people, hey man, we done broke the covenant, and we been getting dogged out, and let's bring this to an end. It's all that's saying, that we're gonna bring this to an end, because we're gonna complain. You know, we desolate and captives and moving to and fro. You know, and who had brought up these? Behold, I was left alone. These, where had they been? You know, we done found out that we the Israelites, and like, man, why come we ain't been know this? Why we ain't been know this? And then, you know what I'm saying, man, we could do some things under our Israelite name. People would listen to us. Look, this said the Elohim Yah, behold, I will lift up my hand to the Gentiles and set up my standard to the people, and they shall bring thee sons and their daughters, and thy daughters shall be carried upon their shoulders, and kings shall be thy nursing father, and their queens thy nursing mother, and they shall bow down to thee with their faces toward the earth, and lick up the dust of thy feet, and they shall know that I am the Elohim, for they shall not be ashamed that wait for me. And then listen, these folks gonna survive and make it with the Israelites because they gonna be done helped us. Whereas the other ones that Moses spoke about, that the curse is gonna be on, gonna be enemies that hate us. So whoever come help us first gonna be the ones that's gonna be fulfilling prophecy. Either it's Ashkenazi or the Sephardics. I know for sure that the Sephardics ain't gonna come help us and get us up out of this captivity, because they are the Amorites. They got our heritage a long time ago. Long time ago. But how Ashkenazi got a chance. He got a chance. And if he don't take this opportunity and chance, how the proxy religion that was created after Christianity got him surrounded, and they finna drive them out for long. Asymmetric warfare, man. You can't use nuclear bombs. All right. Shall the prey be taken from the mighty, or the lawful captives delivered? But this said the Elohim, even the captives of the mighty shall be taken away, and the prey of the terrible shall be delivered. For I will contend with him that contend with thee, and I will save thy children, and I will feed them that oppress thee with their own flesh, and they shall be drunken with their own blood, as with sweet wine, and all flesh shall know that I am the Elohim, and thy Savior, and thy Redeemer, the mighty one, O Jacob. So all you Israelites, men is believing in demigod worship and all that stuff, Almighty Yah is our only Savior, and reckoning on the horizon, man, on the horizon is here, and judgment is finna proceed, because we Israelites got to be free, and we know what happened to us in detail. All right, now let's get back to this all seeing eye. So we know that, you know, it's two things that the people that's been dealing with us and got our heritage, that they gonna fall into one or the other. They gonna fall into the one of the boats. The curses are working with us Israelites, as I expressed, that the people that supposed to help us and we get on their shoulders can't have the curses on them, because they gonna be with us. But as if they don't work with us, that prophet Moses say the curses that was on us shall be on them. So there's no escaping Almighty Yah in the prophecies. All right, now let's go look some more at this all-seeing eye. Did I explain that the left eye, that that the Egyptian left eye was Ias, Horus, and so forth, and that the left eye of Egypt is what tricked us, and how the right eye, meaning the right eye, is the war eye and so forth, war and destruction and so forth. But how did they use the left eye, meaning to trick us? That they got the gods, you know what I'm saying? The Egyptian gods, Hathor the golden calf, the queen of heaven is all that is. You know what I'm saying? She was with the left eye, and then the right eye is the the, the Egyptian god Ra, and you know his trickery and so forth, and his evil wickedness. All right, and then let's look at the Egyptian spy system, and then I'm gonna show how that the banking system merged into it and got control of it, and then that's that all seeing eye, and how did when them folks developed them the programs and the so forth for the banking industry and stuff, and how did the banks got to lend the money to the technology companies, and how did they go swoop that eye camera technology up. Uh, all the camera companies they gonna want in their hands. You know what I'm saying? So they can watch and see what's going on, because that's all that the Egyptians did. You know what I'm saying? Look, I mean, according to tradition, the right eye represents the sun, and so it's called the eye of Ra, while the left eye represents the moon and was known as Horus, although it was associated with Thar. Communicated is clear whether it is the left or the right eye, which is referred to others. Myths suggest that it was Horus' right eye, which was torn out, and you know what I'm saying? But anyway, with the eyes. But listen, espionage in ancient Egypt. You know what I'm saying? That's where it all seeing eye come from, and how did the folks today got control of it, and how did they want to watch and see what's going on, and how did they been doing it. Look, espionage is a complicated aspect of security. It both assists in providing security and is active threat to the security at the same time. Those engaging in espionage do so to increase the security and safety of their government in its interest by acquiring secrets and information regarding the actions of enemies, allies, and citizens. But at the same time, their acts of espionage are a threat to the security of anyone from whom the secrets and information have been acquired. You know what I'm saying? Pharaoh was at the top. He was the all-seeing eye, and he represented the gods, and how he was the representation of the gods on earth. So he gonna let the folks, you know, they ain't have no TVs and no camera. So Pharaoh had to project the image that, hey, I'm watching everything. I can see everything. I got spies everywhere. So that's what that eye, you know what I'm saying, from. But how that the folks then got control of the Egyptian system during the Greek time, and then how the bankers, you know what I'm saying, gonna get control and wrestle that technology, you know, the programs for the cameras and all that stuff. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna wrestle that away. The TV is, I mean, it's like an eye too. You know what I'm saying? How that they got control of all that first, and then how that they at the top of the apex, and then how that they can see and watch everything that move through the news channels, the news stations, and everything is working. Everything is working. You remember them people function together and function as a unit and so forth, and then how that they work together. But it might be one family at the top doing better than everybody else with acquiring this technology, and then getting the men the systems, men the running, men the programs, and then how that they got control of it, and then how that they get their kids the 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 technology to peep and listen and look around inside your uh, uh computers and inside your phones and stuff, and then you don't know it, but it be them bankers' kids playing around and stuff. Got a little power and stuff, and be playing around and stuff. You know what I'm saying? I know what time it is. You can't play with me. You know what I'm saying? I know what's going on. But how did the bankers gonna get the software for all this stuff first because they back the companies. You know, a company got to go to the bank. First thing, if you're thinking about getting a company off the ground, you got to go to the bank. And get what the bank gonna say. Give me that software to that. I likes that. And then he invests heavily into that company and so forth. And now he got control of the software and the programs. Well, they got control of the banks like that. And they develop the whole banking technology software, man, is in their hands. You know what I'm saying? I've been told it. One of them told me this. I developed the software. I got 30 CEOs and they develop, you know what I'm saying? They got the companies that develop the software for the banking institutions and the banking industry and so forth in their hands. So you know if a company come up, they got cameras and that's, you know, they can see in the computer cameras the minute they gonna get the programs gonna fall into their hands. The system design gonna fall into their hands, and you know that's that all CNI. They get to see. They let their kids play around and look around. You know what I'm saying? And have a little fun and stuff. You know. All right. See, all right. In ancient Egypt, espionage was rampant at all levels, both by official government's decree against domestic and international targets, and by those targets in attempts to protect themselves and their interests. Much of what developed into modern espionage has its roots in the protocols developed in Egypt for the security of the pharaoh. So if it's one banking family at the top, he gonna be this right here. He gonna be that right there. I already show, you know, in history how that they got in there and took the Greek system over. And we know that the Jews got heavily into the Greek system, that they even had problems, that some of them was even mad how some of them went over to the Greek system and got into it and just embraced Greek culture thoroughly. I mean, I'm talking about, man, just thoroughly, just dived into it. And man, they had them banks and their trade and so forth, and how that they would get control of the Egyptian spy system and use its protocols just like, you know, the protocols developed in Egypt, and then how that they would use it, and then how banking families at the top now with the technology, and how that having the systems and the programs for these computers and telephones is in their hands, and they can use it when they want to, and they got the governments, and they get it information. The governments probably put them under contracts and so forth to use that information, and how they all working together, because whoever make the currency for the government control that government and kind of like is responsible, especially if that government is using this currency, then they gonna want to know what's going on all levels. But how it go back to the bank and how he at the apex. But man, he at the apex. You know what I'm saying? I just did a little thing years ago, man, on Annuit. Let me see if I got that here on Facebook. You know, I keep a lot of little information here on Facebook. Let's see Annuit. Annuit. There it is. Look. Babylonian god of war and destruction. The god is Annuit. You know what I'm saying? We just seeing it on the dollar. And if you worship money, you already know what time it is. You already know what time it is. But we see the Egyptian, you know what I'm saying, had the spine going on. The spine going on to protect Pharaoh at the top. Same way with the banking system. They gonna want to be protected, man. They got money circulating and going on. They gonna want to know what's going on all levels of society. And then there's gonna be one banking family at the top, and that's gonna be somebody that's similar to your boy right there, Pharaoh. All right, and let's see what else up about this Egypt, man. I had a little more history up, but I had this history up showing how the banking system, how they look in ancient Egypt, the had a thoroughly developed system for the acquisition of intelligence. You know what I'm saying? That's that all-seeing eye. That Pharaoh used that all-seeing eye, but because they didn't have no TV back then, and that was his symbol. That he the all-seeing eye, and how everything got to come back to him. You know what I'm saying? And that he was the representation of the fallen angelic being on earth. You know what I'm saying? And how he was the representation of that. And that's what that all-seeing eye stood for. That Pharaoh see everywhere. He got spies all over. He know what's going on everywhere. Well, that done turned into the camera in the cameras in the videos now. That how did the bankers got control of that? All right, and then the banking. I had pulled this history up. How the the banking families, the ancient banking families in ancient Babylon. You know what I'm saying? I already proved how they moved to the promised land, and then when they got chased out the promised land in 70 AD, they did how did those banking families that had all the Babylonian banking system was never destroyed because the Babylonians, the Amorites, the ones from Cypher, that were all the banking system in capitalism developed. Cypher and Nippur went to the promised land during the Persian times. They went to the promised land, a free ride there. And then how that they was Amorites and been going back and forth to Babylon and Mesopotamia, and how they try to mask the Babylonian families off the Amorite families that got our heritage as being Israelite bankers in Babylon, using the Amorite system and the Amorite code for banking and so forth. Oh man, it's all wicked. It's all wicked. But truth here and now, and we do know what's going on. We do know what's going on. All right. So them families that left Babylon and then moved to the promised land, as could be shown that they had banking inside their temples and so forth. And that was a big thing, whereas the Israelites held their gold at home. Even though we'll have some stuff in the temple that folks dedicated and stuff, but it wouldn't be something that you can lend out. That was a dedication for the temple. And everybody mostly had their wealth at home and so forth. But how did the banking system, set up banks in the promised land, and Herd Temple was it, as that individual Jesus was mad because they was doing some money changing in Herd Edomite Temple that he called his father's house, that an Edomite built. But they was exchanging money. And then I got this little part, how that they gave money to the temple, to them Edomites and folks that would be making pilgrimages, them Edomites and them Amorites and coming from all over would come to the promised land and make a pilgrimage after they got our heritage. And then how they'll pay money, maybe to go get in a mitzvah bath or whatever, and then immerse themselves in some water and then go into the temple that Herd built. But how did that money and stuff was they bank and stuff? Back in the days, they used to rob the temples in Mesopotamia because that's what a bank was. That was the bank. That was the bank. That man, they priests was doing loans, man. He was loaning grain, and then that was so cold that they would exchange the grain in the vegetation into gold. Some kind of way they'll wrestle gold out the people's hand for food and stuff. And then that's what the priests in Babylon did, and Barbara, one of them temples and stuff. And then how that they would all come to the promised land and set that up. And then when they was chased and dispersed, that how they went over to Italy, and man, all all up around her, you know what I'm saying, Italy and France, and you know, there's been some families, you know what I'm saying, that moved over here. That was from Babylon. They got chased out the promised land, and they start their banking institutions here, and then they banking institutions will finance all the stuff that's going on in Europe. Whole lot of stuff going on in Europe that they'll finance, and then they'll get control. Man, and the Europeans, man, the way they had such a hold on them, man, to where that them folks find out that it was another land over here that all of them ran to get away from them land barons over here and set up the same shop over here. I explained how the Amorite system is set up in America. The same identical Babylonian system from Sipper is set up here in America, and how that the same peoples, the bankers that controlled it, families control America. You know? Man. And then how that they would want to keep that Egyptian agent, secret agent, spy system, you know, the all seeing eye functional. And as you see, there it is. There it is right there. Look at him looking at us. Looking at us because the bankers got the programs and in the system to all the computers and the technology behind the cameras and stuff, and they can see and they watching. Just like Pharaoh had spies watching everywhere, where they can see everything too. That's why they need to settle this Israelite issue. Cause all this information is out now. We trying to get free. We trying to get free from the big eye. We don't want the big eye watching us no more. Alright. Look, the Hammurabi Code. Look, the look, Bar Sipper. Look, Bar Sipper. Look, this what look. While certain families of Mesopotamia might be thought of as banking families, according to one source, these families' economic activities, well, man, they did everything. You know what I'm saying? And then how did them folks, you know what I'm saying? The Marshusha, you know, this is an Amorite family posing as Israelites, probably Nethinims, you know, and then how that they was in the promised land, and then how that they went to Mesopotamia, and then how they come back. You know what I'm saying? These banking families, the Babylonian banking families, and then they was in Bar Sipper, that's Sipper, and Nipper, Sipper and Nipper. You know what I'm saying? That's gonna be what capitalism and the whole American administrative system was developed off that, because those Amorites set America up, and then how that they would, you know, go all, you know, to Spain and Italy and all them places and set up banks and so forth, and how did they all in it together, and then how did the banks function off the Hammurabi Code. Look, the Code of Hammurabi law stipulate payment of loan by a debtor to a creditor on a schedule with a maturity date specified in written contractual terms. You know, we had Jubilee, and we didn't do business like the Amorites did business in Mesopotamia. We didn't do business like that, whereas them folks got your stuff, that they had your stuff forever. Whereas we might get somebody's stuff and they might fall in debt. We had to give it back to them at a Jubilee. You know, we keep your land for 7 years, and after that, man, they go back to you. Whereas the Amorite Canaanite system, man, they get your stuff, man, it's sold off forever, and you don't never get it back. Alright? Let's see what else. Man, the origin of banking. You know what I'm saying? The Babylonian system, man, and how did them folks set up, you know what I'm saying, everywhere. And how did the whole banking system in the West is controlled by them. So they gonna wanna have that technology to see everything. And then, like I say, that the companies that develop the software for the cameras is in their control because they got to go to the bank, and the bank gonna say, "Give me that, give me that." And if the bank get control of the cameras and the software for the cameras, they ain't gonna tell everybody this. They ain't gonna tell everybody this. They not gonna tell everybody that, hey, we got the software to all the cameras because we control all the camera producing companies and we got a major stake in them. They not gonna say that. They not gonna say that. But that's what happened. And then that's why this is there. Because they able to see everything. Because they control the whole spine network in the Western Hemisphere. The bankers do. They got to know what's going on. Can't get mad at them. They got to know what's going on and so forth, and how they got to be at the top because they control the money. And man, it gets serious when you control the people's money. You want to know what's going on. And then that's them at the top. Look at him looking. All right, Israelites. Man, this is a message from the Israelite Brotherhood. Man, I just wanted to show, man, you know what I'm saying? That's like meaning this one. Look, if one pilgrim come to Jerusalem, would preferably go to the bank to change money as the coins of the realm engraved with the head of Caesar was unacceptable for use in the temple, the central bank in Jerusalem, and some of the law courts could be found on the Temple Mount platform in the building. So they exchanged money, man. In order for you to go in her temple, you had to pay. You know what I'm saying? You had to pay some money. And then that money, man, you know what I'm saying, you get to them, and then they'll go let you get in the water and walk around and so forth. But that was the bank. And the bank's been tied in to everything from the temple, which flow all the way down to the people and stuff. All right, Israelites, man, reckoning is on the horizon. You know what I'm saying? It's on the horizon because we Israelites got to be free. And we understand what that all-seeing eye is now. You know what I'm saying? We know that the bankers got control of the programs. You know what I'm saying? That at first that it started out as Pharaoh got control and watching everything from his spies on all levels. On all levels. And then all the information trickled back up to him. You know what I'm saying? Well, that's the same way. If the banks is the leading power, how he gonna want the same power? And then how he using the representation of that Egyptian symbol. It's the same thing. He got the same power, and the same thing is being performed. All right, Israelites, this is a message from the Israelite Brotherhood.